Do you want to stop making mistakes? And I'm not talking about the little mistakes, I'm talking about the big ones. If you really want to stop making the big detrimental mistakes that take you months, maybe years, and maybe never to recover from, well, there's a very simple trick, but it is very difficult to follow. And basically, the first step is you gotta really know your values. You really have to know who you are, what you want in the world, how you are reflected in the world as well. What are your deep internal values? Maybe they're family values, right? Maybe they're religious or spiritual values. Maybe they're just values of karma. You believe that whatever you put out into the world comes back at you, right? If we believe that energy can neither be created nor destroyed, or if we just believe that like attracts like, especially in the quantum molecular level, when it comes to magnets, yeah, opposite attract. But when it comes to that quantum, that molecular level, so if you want to stop making the big mistakes, just align your actions, align what you do with your values. Some of the biggest mistakes I've made in business or my personal life, or honestly, even my spiritual life, is when my values were different than my actions. And specifically, really, it was when my actions did not align with my value. I'll give you a perfect example. I was dating this girl once, and literally, in our relationship, she lied to me. And I didn't catch it immediately, but it was like little lies here and there, but it wasn't anything big or detrimental at first. And normally, my values would definitely not align with that type of person. My values would be to let that person go and figure it out on her own. However, something happened. Something big happened. She ended up cheating on me. And then afterwards, it was even worse. She didn't even tell me that she hooked up with somebody else. And one of my values is honesty at any cost. And we actually had an agreement that if she ever liked somebody, if she ever connected with somebody, because she was kind of a flirtatious girl, that she would tell me. She would tell me if she went that far, but she was forced to tell me when the person that she hooked up with had an STD. And after she hooked up with him, she still hooked up with me. And I found out about this weeks later when she found out from that other person that she might have an STD. Oh, I'm laughing at it now, but I was livid at the time. I was actually on a hike when she called me and let me know, and this was after we already broke up. And I was asking her, how could you do that? How could you lie on such a level? And she literally, basically looked at me in my eyes, because it was on a FaceTime, and she said, I lie sometimes. What? Don't worry, everything turned out fine. I went to the doctor, I got the antibiotics. In that moment, I made a promise to myself to never, ever get into a relationship with anybody that lies, especially lies on that level. If they lie about a little thing, they can lie about the big stuff. In Kung Fu, there's a saying, how you do anything is how you do everything. And because I was raised on different martial arts principles from different martial arts, that has always been a very foundational stone for me. It was always been a baseline. How you do anything is how you do everything. And man, I really loved this girl. It kind of broke me for a little bit. And the reason it broke me is not because she lied, but it broke me because I went against my own values. I chose to ignore the little signs. And then boom, It was like an anvil was dropped on me. It was a big one. However, from that point on, I have done my best to surround myself with people that have the same values as I do, or even better. And you are the average of the 5 people you continuously hang out, communicate, and are friends with. So if you really are noticing something that is not working for you, if you're noticing something that maybe it's a little bit different than your values, my suggestion is take a very, very deep look. See if you want to be friends with those people. See if you want to be in a relationship with those people. Yeah, it might suck for a moment. It might suck even for a little bit longer than a moment. I remember it took me a good 6 to 8 weeks to really start not trusting people again, but allowing people in my circle again after what she did, after how badly she lied. And the reason I took that time to myself is to really go deep into myself, figure out what was it that happened that I allowed that person in my life. Why did I do that? Which of my own values did I break? And how were those actions not aligning with who I was on the inside? And the truth is, in those days, I really wanted to like this person. I really wanted for this person to be the one, if you will. And now that I'm here, whenever I'm choosing business partners, whenever I'm choosing friends, I want to make sure that their values align with mine, but not only that, that my actions align with my values. Because the truth is, I do my best to leave everybody better than I found them. However, if that person wants to harm me, if that person doesn't have my best interest at heart, because that's one of my values, is to help people, to really, really help people, to really align with somebody on such a level that we both leave benefited, that we both elevate, that we both win, win, win. So I look deeply at my actions now, not in just business, not in just my personal life, but also in my spiritual life. Am I giving to myself enough? Am I connecting with the source, God, Allah, Spirit, whatever you want to call them, universal intelligence? Are my spiritual values aligning so that way I am growing, I am learning spiritually? Are my actions in my daily physical life? Am I being good to myself? Am I being good to my body? Am I getting enough sleep? Am I staying away from illicit substances and alcohol and smoking? Am I walking the walk? Am I the person that when I look in the mirror, I'm proud? Or am I that person that looks in the mirror and makes excuses? So if you want to avoid huge mistakes, like I've made, then align your actions with your values and stop making excuse for people. Get rid of the negative influences in your life, even if those negative influences coming from yourself. That's why I became sober, because I realized that alcohol and Russ don't mix. That's why I stopped doing all the illicit drugs, because I realized I really wasn't getting anything out of them that I already haven't had before. That's why I stopped all of the negative influences, and I now focus on health, wealth, and peace. Because I know when I'm following those values that I'm creating something better for the world, that I'm able to give fully to you and everybody around, because I give fully to myself. And if your values are something to be, desired, if you're still working on yourself, then surround yourself with the best people you can find and watch how your life elevates and changes. Thank you for watching. This is Nikita. Until we meet, stay peaceful. Let's go.